present perfect. After students who've been very good, but they've never really understood how to use this grammar structure, instead they go ahead and butcher past participles, auxiliary verbs used incorrectly, even by nerds, to avoid word massacres in classes. Let's study the rules, so put on your glasses. The aim of any perfect tense is to link to time periods, and hence we adopt the present perfect to tell anecdotes about present and past as well. And from a semantic perspective, this tense is highly effective to describe past actions that go on in present and experience both gruesome and pleasant. An example of this tense might be, I've played the piano since I was 3, or discussing experience that we've had. I've been to Paris, haven't gone to Baghdad. To mention past actions with present results, I've forgotten my keys, I can't open these books. Or for past actions in present times, today I've made fruit juice with orange and limes. The apples of time often give us a clue of when we can use present perfect too. With phrases like this month or this year, this evening, today, use present perfect here. But if we have yesterday phrases with last, it's essential to use the simple past. And how do I form it, I hear you ask? Well, it's not a very difficult task. Take the verb noon as the auxiliary, have for I, we, you, they, has for he and she. Then add the past participle verb for which the irregular forms are absurd. He goes to eat and leave, goes to left, being gone, seen, taken, shown, number F. But with any look English, I know you'll see a regular verb, so you just add it. What about negative phrases? Add not and I'll sing your praises. I have not done my homework yet, she hasn't had breakfast, that's why she's upset. But if it's interrogatives that you crave, look how the auxiliaries behave. They go to the start of the perfect clause. Have you understood or taken a pause? Now I've explained this curious tense. I hope that it makes a little more sense. So now it's really up to you to decide. Avoid present perfect or use it with pride.
Okay, let's break down the lyrics to the song so that we can understand the present perfect a little bit better. So we'll start with,
The aim of any perfect tense is to link to time periods, and hence we adopt the present perfect to tell anecdotes about present and past as well.
okay, so as it says, when we use a perfect tense, we're always linking to time periods. In the case of this tense, the present perfect, we're going to put our auxiliary verb, which is the verb have, into the present. And this means that when we use this tense, we are talking about a past action that has some kind of relevance or some kind of connection to the present. So, the next part of the song says that we use the present perfect
To describe past actions that go on in present and experience both gruesome and pleasant.
One context where we could use the present perfect is to talk about experiences. We can use this tense also to talk about actions which start in the past and continue in the present. Okay, so let's listen to some examples.
An example of this tense might be, I've played the piano since I was 3. Or
Okay, so if we use the word since, this means that we're talking about something that happened or started in the past and continues in the present. So we're going to use present perfect.
discussing experience that we've had. I've been to Paris, haven't gone to Baghdad.
When we talk about a life experience and we don't mention when this past action happened, for example, if we talk about places we've gone to, people we've met, food we've tried, we're going to use the present perfect instead of the past simple.
To mention past actions with present results. I've forgotten my keys, I can't open these books.
Another context where we might use the present perfect is to talk about a past action which has a present result. So if I say, for example, I've forgotten my keys, in the past I forgot my keys, now I can't open the door. So the present result is I can't open the door. Of the past action, I forgot my keys. So in this case, I would say I have forgotten my keys.
The hours of time often give us a clue of when we can use present perfect too. With phrases like this month or this year, this evening, today, use present perfect here.
Okay, so often when we're talking about a past action that happened in a time period in which we are still living, for example, when we say today, this week, this month, this year, it's more common to use the present perfect. In contrast, if we use time periods which only refer to the past, we have to use the past simple, which is why we hear in the song.
But if we have yesterday phrases with last, it's essential to use the simple past.
Let's talk about the structure of the present perfect.
And how do I form it, I hear you ask? Well, it's not a very difficult task. Take the verb noun as the auxiliary. Have for I, we, you, they, has for he and she.
So as I mentioned previously, the present perfect is always formed using an auxiliary verb. In this case, because it's the present perfect, we're going to use our auxiliary verb have in the present tense. So when we have subjects I, you, we, and they, we're going to use have. And when we use subjects he, she, and it, we're going to use the auxiliary has. So we end up with sentences such as I have eaten, you have eaten, he has danced, they have played. Okay. So after our auxiliary verb, we always have to add a past participle, a verb in past participle. The verb in past participle is the verb that describes the action. So how are we going to form the past participle? Unfortunately, many common past participles are irregular. Okay, so let's listen to some of the irregular forms.
Then add the past participle verb for which the irregular forms are absurd. He goes to eat and leave, goes to left, being gone, seen, taken, show, number S.
How do we know if a verb has an irregular past form? Unfortunately, we just have to learn it. So whenever you learn a new verb, you should look up its past participle forms in order to know whether it is regular or irregular. Okay. However, some verbs are regular. So what do we do if we have a regular verb?
But with any luck, English learner, you'll see a regular verb, so you just add ed.
Turn it into its past participle, you're just going to add ed. For example, play goes to played, dance goes to danced.
What about negative phrases? Add nothing else in your praises.
When we want to use a negative phrase using the present perfect, it's very simple to form. We don't use an auxiliary verb, we just add the word not. So we end up with I have not eaten, she has not eaten. Okay.
But if it's interrogatives that you crave, look how the auxiliaries behave. They go to the start of the perfect clause. Have you understood or taken a pause?
Okay, so if you have a present perfect sentence or a present perfect clause and you want to turn it into a question, all you have to do is put the auxiliary verb have or has before the subject. Okay, so now it's up to you to decide if you are going to avoid the present perfect or if you're going to use it with pride.